Good evening. Less than a week ago, Bashar al-Assad fled Syria, ending more than 5 decades of dictatorship. Syria has changed more in less than a week than in any week this last half-century. Shortly after Assad's fall, I set out a set of principles essential to delivering on the aspirations of the Syrian people, who, for the first time in most of their lives, now have the prospect of shaping their own future. I returned to the region this week to build consensus around those principles with key partners. Today, the United States and our partners in the region have agreed on a set of shared principles to guide our support for Syria and its people going forward. America and our partners have an important stake in helping the Syrian people chart this new path. We know that what happens inside of Syria can have powerful consequences well beyond its borders, from mass displacement to terrorism. And we know that we can't underestimate the challenges of this moment and in the weeks and months ahead. The Syrian population has been traumatized by decades of repression. Throughout its rule, the Assad regime stoked tensions among ethnic and religious lines to divide the Syrian people. After more than a decade of conflict and many decades of corruption, humanitarian needs of the people are massive. ISIS and other terrorist groups still maintain presence in Syria and want to use this period of uncertainty to try to regain a foothold. No one understands these challenges better than the Syrian people themselves. And Syrians know that they're going to need support from their neighbors and from the international community to meet these challenges. In this region and elsewhere, we've seen how the fall of a repressive regime can swiftly give way to more conflict and chaos, how the shoes of one dictator can be filled by another, or how interference by an outside country can be thrown off only to be replaced by another. That's why it's so important that we and our partners came together today to agree on principles that will guide our efforts to help the Syrian people meet these challenges and build the inclusive, non-sectarian, peaceful, and sovereign state that they want. Our message to the Syrian people is this: we want them to succeed, and we're prepared to help them do so. Today's agreement sends a unified message to the new interim authority and parties in Syria on the principles crucial to securing much-needed support and recognition, which we've reflected in a joint communique that should be issued very shortly. We agreed that the transition process should be Syrian-led and Syrian-owned and produce an inclusive and representative government. The rights of all Syrians, including minorities and women, should be respected. Humanitarian aid should be able to reach people who need it. State institutions should deliver essential services to the Syrian people. Syria should not be used as a base for terrorist groups or others who threaten Syria's people, its neighbors, or the world. Chemical weapons stockpiles should be secured and safely destroyed. Syria should have peaceful relations with its neighbors. Relevant organizations should have access to facilities that can help determine the fate of missing Syrians and foreign nationals, and eventually hold abusers accountable.